Welcome to Profiletraders. This is Reza and you're listening to my market analysis for August the 20th. Before I start to get into the profile charts, let's look at a daily chart of what is taking place here for ES. What we are seeing is that after multiple attempts through theft, through manipulation, through lies, through you name it, they tried to keep the market at 2100, hoping that there will be finally enough suckers that would give in and they would start to buy, and that we would break on the upside past the resistance line that you see on the chart above there. But unfortunately they failed, and they failed for multiple reasons. Number one, we have a complete total collapse, and I'm talking about a catastrophic collapse of the Chinese economy and the Chinese markets, which will have tremendous consequences on the rest of the world. Number two, there is a complete and a total mistrust regarding the jackasses of the Federal Reserve, and everybody in the investment community now knows that the Federal Reserve has lost it and they are no more in control of things. And after having created this historic bubble that you're looking at, all based on hot air and printing, now they have no more ammunition left in their guns. And on the top of that, the international community is no longer willing to finance US debt, which will lead us to a severe capital crunch, which will mostly affect US corporates because as you know, we have seen an unprecedented orgy of stock buying back, which has been the scam ran by corporate America for all these years. Rather than improving their businesses, rather than hiring people, rather than contributing to the economy, all they have been doing is to borrow at 0% from that criminal Federal Reserve and spend the money buying back their own shares, make the shares go higher, reduce the float of shares out there, and artificially improving their earnings. All of this is coming to an abrupt end. It is becoming to an end to the Federal Reserve. It is coming to an end to the corporation. And in my humble opinion, I believe we are about to start an unprecedented short-term punishment that the market is very much so ripped to get. Therefore, what we are seeing is a very clear-cut, extremely successful trendline break to the downside with a catastrophically bearish close at the very bottom end of the range. Even if there is a phony fake attempt by that crazy woman Yellen to buy this thing back up, at the very most it will do, it's gonna probably come and retest the trend line break at around 2059, 2060, and then ultimately we should continue further down. Very first target, first minimum target, minimum 1950, and then most likely we should be heading towards 1800 month of September and October. So this is a clear-cut exit out of a multiple month of distribution up there. and a lot of late money and dumb money and stupid money that bought it up there at 2100 because greed was itching their palm or their hands that if I buy 2100 after having seen it going up from 800 to 2100 straight, they were still hoping that at 2100 they were gonna get 2200 and 2300 and 2400. Pretty much they were hoping that this thing will never ever see a correction, and they are wrong. So now every single one that is caught within this trading range long, it is going to start to lose their shirt now, and you are going to see this whole move up from 1800 to 2100 unwinding itself in a matter of weeks. And I do not believe that there is anything anymore that this loser Federal Reserve or ours can do. This is it. This is what I told you a long time ago. I said it's the God of the market against the God of the Federal Reserve. And guess who's gonna crush who? The God of the market. And now the gods of the markets are very pissed off about this long-lasting multiple year of orgy, all on artificial fundamentals. Now for ES, we need to remain below 2045. As long as we are below 2045, I don't care how much they're gonna try to bounce it within that range, we are going to continue down. First level, of course, that we are gonna come down is 2000, which could very well happen tomorrow. And then once we clear through 2000, there is really nothing before 1950. So extraordinary bearish close, extraordinary bearish chart, extremely well established downtrend. You sell pullbacks until we reach 1950 and eventually 1850. As for crude oil, obviously when the whole world economy is falling apart, there is absolutely no reason for oil to rally. Especially the fact that now every Arab country from Saudi Arabia, who's now begging for money, to every other country that is member of OPEC that is ass broke, liquidating oil half a price below the OPEC market, the world is flooded with oil. Tankers sitting at sea, not knowing where to go and deliver the oil. Obviously now the benchmark is between 40-50 support to 40 even. If we continue to hang in around this level, possibly a rally could kick in for a couple of bucks. But once we break below 40, I'm expecting that things are gonna start to get very interesting, because you have to keep in mind as well that oil is the revenue for all the criminals of this planet. The mullahs, the Venezuelans, ISIS, Iraqis, Iranis, you name it, they depend on oil. And I can assure you that once it's gonna start to hit below 40, and once they're gonna start to feel that the revenues from oil is disappearing, do not be surprised to see something major happening in the geopolitical arena, so that they would create some sorts of crisis to make oil go back up. But as of right now, it is looking very ill, looking very sick. 40.5 to 40 is support. In order to do anything slightly bullish, we need to come and cross above 42. Until we are below 42, we can either continue to rotate down here, or We are at some point going to break below 40.5 and to go challenge the benchmark, which is 40. As for gold, it is looking fantastic, and for good reason. Now the same scumbags that were buying and buying and buying and buying and buying the market are exiting all their money out of the market and pouring it into gold. And this is now looking very, very good to me. And this formation at the bottom here looks very, very nice. As you can see at the volume below, massive amount coming into gold. First stop which I called for was 1150, which we did reach. Now I am calling for 1225, and then after 1225 is cleared, 1300. There is a lot of room on the upside for gold. To me, it is the only good asset that is still very undervalued out there. If you compare it to the rest of the garbage that you have out there, the Amazons of this world, the Priceline toilet paper at $12.50 of this world, and you name it, that is trading at extreme overvaluation, this asset still very, very, very undervalued with very nice upside potential left in it. So we shall see what happens. It's gonna start to become very interesting, and also knowing that September is approaching, and usually September and October can be extremely brutal months for the market, but so far ain't looking good at all. So be very careful. Have a great evening. This was Reza with Profile Traders.